Before you start designing your charity's website, you need to understand exactly who you're serving and why your cause matters in the first place. So when it comes to designing an effective landing page, it always starts with a good research process. This video is the first one in a series of where we are going to design a charity landing page from scratch. Of course, if you haven't guessed already, this episode is going to be on the research process. But actually, before we dive into any data, we need to understand what we do. So let's peel back the layers to your charity, right? What's its purpose, its impact, its values, mission? Once we identify these, this will give us the information we need for the landing page's main elements. And by main elements, I'm talking about value proposition, scarcity, urgency, social proof, and objection handling. All of these are core components to a well-performing landing page. So let's start with the first one, and arguably the most important one, the value proposition. And I know what you're thinking, this sounds like an e-commerce term, but when applying the principles of this to a good landing page, you need to have a good value proposition, even if you're a charity. It's the first thing that people see when they land on your site, right above the fold. And I'm going to tell you how to effectively come up with your value proposition. Number one, write down the following questions, right? What does your charity do? Who does it serve / help? And why does your mission matter? The information that we collect at this stage is what we are going to use to create an attention-grabbing headline for your page. Now next, equally just as important to be fair as the value proposition, which I know I just said was the most valuable, but I would say social proof is just as valuable. We see this in e-commerce, but we equally see it in charities because people want to know that their money is making an impact. They want to know that they are making a difference and they're facilitating that through you. So that simmers down to, well, where is all my money going? And the simplest way to answer this question is to collect all the stats to show your charity's impact. How much money has your charity collected? What specific outcomes have your programs achieved? You know, how many liters of water have you provided to this place or that place? How many kilograms of food have been given to these people or those people? How many meals have been served? How many children have been educated? You know, it's whatever the goal of your charity is, or the programs you facilitate. Show statistics, show people what they are getting, and they are going to be much more likely to donate money to your cause. You know, another great one is just showing how many volunteers are actually involved in the organization. This could be all the way from donors to people who actively take part in projects, whether that's, you know, building wells or whether it's running soup kitchens or something. It is all social proof and it is all going to make your page 10 times more effective. That was just a random stat. It might even be higher. Okay, then we're going to look at objection handling. I feel like this one often goes amiss, especially in charity pages. I see this quite frequently. But in order to find the friction in your donor's journey, ultimately, you need to speak to them. Ask them, like, what are they confused about? What almost stopped them from donating to you? What more information would they like to see on the landing page? What questions do they have regarding the charity or foundation, the projects that you facilitate? Just ask them. You know, you can collect these answers through donor FAQs and queries, live chat transcripts, phone call transcripts, comments on social media pages, feedback from past donors or surveys that you send out, email lists. There are countless ways to collect these. The next major step in this is finding out what is working and what isn't working. Essentially, analysing your data. It's not enough to gather information for your landing page without understanding what's actually working. You need a solid funnel that brings donors to the page and nurtures them based on their awareness level. Then, once they arrive, study how they interact. There's 3 assessments that you can do to get this information. Experience-based, qualitative-based, and quantitative-based. Bit of a tongue twister. Okay, step 1, let's look at experience-based assessment. Before you touch any analytics, start by seeing your landing page through the lens of a donor. You know, ask yourself quite simple questions. Is it immediately clear what our charity does and why it matters? Can I see the donation button clearly? Is this page easy to read and follow? Does the page naturally guide me from interest to action? And basic functionality, you know, do all the links work? Are the buttons where they should be? Is everything just working properly? You'll be so surprised how many click off a website just because something's not working properly, and the amount of conversions that you lose because of stuff like that, which is so basic to fix. is insane. So then step 2 is the qualitative based assessment. And this is obviously where we move on to the data part. You know, how are people actually using your landing page? And for some people, this is where the fun begins. We're going to focus on 2 things, right? Heat maps, scroll maps. Heat maps are going to show exactly where people are clicking, tapping, spending time on the page, and here's how you can use it. Check where users click most. Where's getting a huge amount of clicks? Why might that be? Look into that. Figure it out. Look for confusion in user behavior and see which areas are getting ignored. Then when using scroll maps, we want to see how far users are scrolling down the website. You know, how long is it until they just stop paying attention? You know, you can check where users drop off, which parts get the most attention. These are like your golden spots. That's where, you know, your strongest message or your CTAs should be. Look, like if your users never make it to the bottom of the page, don't include all the best stuff there. Get it further up the page. And step 3 is the quantitative based assessment. Once you've walked through the page like a donor, and you've seen where people click and where they scroll, now it is time to crunch the numbers. And this is where you're going to use a tool like GA4, Google Analytics. GA4 is going to allow you to understand how people are actually using your site with basically no guessing. Okay, and here's what you're going to look for. How long are visitors staying? Where are they coming from? Where are they dropping off? And what devices perform best? So now you've collated all this data, we're going to find out what can I improve? And this is the part where we move away from ourselves and we start to look at what our competitors are doing. It's one of the best ways to find out what is working and what ways you can improve what you're doing. Okay, so what are we looking for? We're looking for how your competitors' landing pages look. What is driving traffic to them? Who is their demographic? And what are their main keywords? So step 1, what do your competitors' landing pages look like? So if you're at the stage where you don't even know your competitors, here's what you're going to do in Google search to find them. Donate to your cause, or your cause non-profit organization, or best charities for your cause. Once you land on these pages, you're going to start analyzing them. Dissect their value prop. You know, who are they targeting? How did they present their headline? And is the language simple and easy to understand? Simple stuff like that. Check out their social proof. Have they got donor stories? How do they present their statistics? Have they even got any statistics on the page? Are there sponsor badges, registration numbers, you know, proof of addresses, accreditation? All of that stuff is what is going to matter. Look at their CTAs. How are they placed? Where are they placed? How many do they have? What's the wording of that CTA? Is it soft? Is it hard? What's it encouraging? And then check out their objection handling. You know, what questions does the FAQ section handle, and how do they address each objection? Chances are, if they've got an FAQ section, these are likely questions that they have faced before, so they know that people want to know the answers to these. And then lastly, what visuals have they used? You know, do they have a lot of images? Is it minimal images? What sort of emotions do these images evoke? So now we need to find out what is driving the traffic to their site. And we're going to use a tool called SEMrush. So you're going to head over to semrush.com. You're going to go to the site and you're going to search for your competitor's website name, or just copy and paste the link. Click on Traffic Analytics, Traffic Sources, and this shows how many people are finding their site, like through Google search, social media, ads, or other websites. Then if you want to understand their demographic, this is where you're going to use a website called SimilarWeb, which is a super powerful tool. Simply go to similarweb.com, enter the charity's website name, or just, again, paste the link, and scroll down to the audience tab. The things you need to look out for are the geography, what are the top countries by percentage, age and gender breakdown, device distribution. This one is so important. You know, how are users engaging on the site? Is it on a mobile, a tablet, a website? This is going to really help with your design process. And look for the audience interests. You know, what other websites do they like to visit? And then lastly, we need to find out what are their main keywords. For this, I recommend a tool called Ubersuggest. It's at ubersuggest.com. Just to confirm, we have no affiliation with any of these. They are just tools that we use. In the search bar, paste the link of the competitor that you are analyzing. And what you'll see is their top SEO keywords, position on Google, estimated monthly traffic, and their SEO difficulty. And that pretty much concludes it for the research and organizing information process. All the information that you gather from this is going to set you up perfectly to move on to the next step, of designing your landing page. So if this video has helped you in any way, shape, or form, do click the like button, subscribe if you're new. We are Formulr, we are a digital marketing agency. And if you're a charity that is looking for someone to take you to the next level online, then do click the link in our bio to book a call with us. It's free, no obligation. We also have loads of resources on our website that might help you out anyway. But if you did want to hop on a call to have a chat, we would love to do so. This is obviously part one of a longer series where next time we will move on to the design process, where I will show you how we actually come to design these pages. So stick around.